my name's Stephanie and I'll be bringing you the Faith Builder for this week. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about trust and how that's quite an essential part in building your faith in God. So this week, I'm going to try to bring it into a slightly different context, and I'll be reading from Matthew chapter 14, verse 27 to 31. And it says, "But Jesus spoke to them at once. 'Do not be afraid,' he said. 'Take courage, for I am here.' Then Peter called to him, 'Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you, walking on the water.' 'Yes, come,' Jesus said. So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. But when he saw the strong waves and the wind, he was terrified and he began to sink. 'Save me, Lord,' he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. 'You have so little faith,' Jesus said. 'Why did you doubt me?' So there's this saying I always used to hear get thrown around, and it's along the lines of getting to the top spot is the easy part. It's staying there that's a little bit more difficult. You know, when you're at the top spot, and when I say top spot, it can be in any area of your life. It could be finances, it could be education, it could also be family life. But the point is it's still the top spot, and everyone's, gunning for the top spot. But when you get there, staying there is where it becomes a little bit more difficult. And in some ways, it reminds me of this story because, the disciples saw Jesus walking on water, yet they still couldn't believe it was him. So Peter said, if it's really you, let me go walk on the water too, I'm sure I can do it too. And so Jesus invited him over, he was walking on water for the first couple of seconds. He seemed fine. But then once he took note of his surroundings, the strong winds, the waves, he began to panic, fear sets in and he started sinking. But Jesus was right there to pull him back up. And it's important to remember that when you get to that top spot, when you've achieved all your goals, there's only one way to stay there, and it's through your faith and your trust in God. But you can have so much faith and you've built up all your faith and all your trust. But once fear sets in and once you start taking note of your surroundings, the chaos starts to set in, it becomes difficult to remember that. It becomes difficult to remember that I have all this faith in God, like he's the one that's going to put me there. Or keep me there rather, because he's the one that put you there in the first place. So trust and faith go hand in hand, but once fear sets in and fear gets thrown into the mix, you can forget that. You can forget who's brought you up there, and you can forget that he has the power to keep you there as well. So to keep yourself from sinking, you have to remember to depend always on him. You have to call on him, cry out to him for help, and his arms are always open, ready to pull you back up or keep you from falling. And this has been your Faith Builder for this week, and God bless.